All right, here's the problem that you were supposed to do. Let's go ahead and do it together here. Remember, direct variation is y equals mx, or y equals ax. It is a line that goes through the point 0, 0, and I can see that because there's no y-intercept. So that goes through 0. Then I just use my slope to find the next point. A slope of 2 is 2 over 1, which tells me to go up 2, right 1. So I'm going up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. I can also go down 2, left 1, the two opposite directions. But that is my line. Key fact, direct variation goes through 0, 0. Other than that, it's the same graphing as before. If you got questions, make sure you hit up your teacher. Leave comment here. Otherwise, let's go to the next and final set of examples. So, how are we going to write and use a direct variation equation? So, the graph of a direct variation equation passes through the point 4, 6. It wants us to write the direct variation equation. So remember, a direct variation equation is y equals ax. It has no b value. So what we're going to do is, I'm being given a point. I'm told that it's going through this point, this x, y point. And if you think about what that means it's going to start at 0, 0, and then it's going to go through 6. So I already know kind of what this graph looks like. It's going to look something like that. But I need to find the equation of this line that it's going through. So what I'm going to do, since I have an x and I have a y, is I'm going to take that x and y and I'm going to plug it into the equation. Right? Notice that I took the y and I plugged it in here. I took the x and I plugged it in here. And then I'm going to solve it. 6 equals a times 4. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And I'm going to get 6/4 equals a. Reducing that gives me 3/2. So my constant of variation, or my slope, is 3, 2. If I went up 3, right 2, up 3, right 2, up 3, right 2, notice that I get to that point, right? Up 3, right 2, up 3, right 2. That's my line. So what's the equation of this line? Well, it's y equals 3/2 x, right? So that's my final answer. I know that I can find the slope by plugging in the numbers 6 and 4 into the equation y equals ax, because that's direct variation. Then, once I find that a value, I know that that's my slope. So it's y equals 3/2 x. That has to be what this is. And then the question asks us, find the value of y when x is 24. It's saying, what is y if I plug in 24 for x? So we multiply 3/2 times 24. I can cross cancel this. That's a 1, that's a 12. So 3 times 12 makes 36. Y is 36. So we're using some information given to us to create the equation. I know that it goes through the point 4, 6. I know that the equation is direct variation, so I take that point and I plug it in. Solving for a gives me the slope, and then I can just plug that back in for my equation. Let's do this one more time, but let's do it in context this time. So here we have the number of tablespoons, S, of sea salt needed in a saltwater fish tank varies directly, right? Key term here that says varies directly with the number W of gallons of water in the tank. So a pet shop owner recommends adding 100 tablespoons of sea salt to a 20-gallon tank. It wants us to write a direct variation equation that relates W and S. So notice here that it's saying that S, I'm leaving some words out obviously, but S varies directly with W. Meaning as W changes, S is going to change with it, okay? Or as S changes, W changes along with it at a given direct rate. So since it says S varies directly with W, what that's telling us is that S equals AW. Notice how this is a direct variation equation, right? I'm not using Y and X, I'm using S and W, but this is S equals AW. You saw it. Never mind. This is direct variation. It tells me it varies directly, so it's direct variation, okay? So I need to create this equation, S equals AW, but I need to find the A. Well, they tell me that there's 100 tables of sea salt, right? So that's 100 is S, to a 20-gallon tank, W is 20. If I take these two numbers and plug them in, 100 equals A times 20, I can find the A value that is appropriate for this equation. So I solve this, A times 20, divide both sides by 20, and I get A equals 5. So my equation is S equals 5W, which tells me that every time I increase the gallons of the tank by 1, I'm increasing the sea salt by 5, because that's what slope says, right? Remember, we're going up 5, right 1. When I increase the gallon size by 1, I'm increasing the salt by 5. So how many tablespoons of salt should be added to a 30-gallon saltwater fish tank? Well, that means that W equals 30. So I'm going to plug that into that equation. S equals 5 times 30, and I'm going to get S equal to 150. So 150 tablespoons of salt should be added to a 30-gallon tank. So again, the hardest part about this one is this first part, right, where we decide what kind of the equation this is. S varies directly with W, tells me that S equals AW. As W changes, it affects and changes the S at a constant rate. Once we do that, it's just like the previous problem. Find out what your S and W is. In this case, 100 salt is 20 gallons, and then we plug it in and find the A. Just like we did over here, we had the X and the Y giving us those values. All right, that's everything that we have for this lesson. Thank you very much for watching. Again, if you have questions, comments, concerns, make sure you address them with your teacher, or you can leave a comment here for me. That would be fantastic. Otherwise, I hope you have a good day. Bye.